I've gotten thousands of hate comments on videos that I'm talking about white privilege or systematic racism. I've been called everything. Ugly, stupid, someone that shouldn't be alive, and a lot of things that are even worse that I won't repeat. And honestly, these hate comments don't really bother me, but there was one that I wanted to address. I've had several people comment that I shouldn't be talking about these topics because I'm not a minority. And I'm the first one to admit that I'm not the best person to talk about it. I'm not the most educated or knowledgeable. I haven't experienced systematic racism, and I know that my perspective is limited. There are plenty of people that are better than me to talk about this. But if I were in someone else's shoes, I would rather have someone speak up. Even if they're not the best at it, or they don't do as good of a job at advocating as I would rather have them say something than nothing at all. Hate still exists, and the way that my comments have flooded with negativity just proves that we need more voices, not fewer. I'm not here to speak over anyone, but I do care, and I'm here to listen and learn, and I will always use my voice to call people out.
It's European culture. We see ourselves as overseers. We ourselves as entitled to control and judge black people. White Americans wanted, back in the day, we demanded black people be segregated, right? So we segregated. Black people said, okay, great, we're going to make our own shit. They started doing great. What did we do? We fucking burned their communities down to the ground. I'm tired of what my people have done, what they continue to do. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of seeing people suffer.
I was ignorant of just how bad white supremacy was until I started speaking against it. I thought, of course, racism is real, but I'm sure there's plenty of white people out there who want to fix it. There's plenty of people who want to fix the system so that it's better for everybody. The moment I started calling it out for exactly what it is, that's when things started to shift, and that's when I realized the sheer amount of hatred. And I didn't expect for people that I knew to personally attack me, tell me that I was being too divisive, to lose so many people that I thought were friends of mine. I didn't expect the constant threats of violence or being targeted by neo-Nazis online so badly that they leaked my phone number. I didn't expect to be turned into an internet meme and called crash out Kylie and subsequently targeted by white supremacists. I didn't think the journey would be easy, but I do sincerely think that I was blind to just how deeply white supremacy runs. And that is certainly a bias that I have as a white person because I never experienced this hatred until I started speaking against it. The truth is that speaking out against racism as a white person isn't divisive, it's necessary. And despite being doxxed and ostracized from my community, I strongly recommend that other white people do the same. Because why would you want to be friends with somebody who's hell-bent on silencing your voice and the voice of people of color?
One of the biggest tools the white supremacists use to control the general population is jealousy. Not just fear of minorities, but fear of minorities being more successful than you as a white person. Because implicitly, deep down, they know that they have a significant advantage over every single immigrant, over black and brown people in the US. Because of factors like racism, all you have to do is look to the government and see how white and how conservative it is. That is why I believe that a large portion of racism and bigotry in general is rooted in jealousy. It's not just about white people wanting to hoard the resources, it's about white people wanting to hoard them so other people don't get them. They would rather see people of color fail than another white person succeed because it's never been about success, it's been about preventing others from doing well. That sort of spite is what keeps them going.
Man, I tell you what, nothing makes racist white people more pissed off than me, a white person, trying to educate about racism and trying to educate about what white privilege is and all these things. And it's so funny because these same people will argue with me till they are blue in the face about how they're not racist and we don't live in a racist institution and black and brown people have it so easy and racism doesn't exist anymore. But then they will turn around and say the most racist, ignorant, vile shit you've ever heard in your life. The disconnect is amazing. And this is why I make content like this, because it's so important, because we do live in a racist institution and we are all raised in racism as white people. This is simply a fact. And the crazy part about it is every one of us knows this. I will never stop trying to educate as a white person about racism and how we need to learn, we need to evolve, we need to do better.
Here's something that I don't think a lot of the lighter shades of wheat people in my comments understand. Your negative comments will not stop me from doing what I'm doing. I will actively fight for people in my country who are being oppressed. If that means that I have to spend the rest of my life doing this, I will. I will use technology to help put an end to white supremacy. And I hate to tell you, but there will be more and more white people that use their white privilege to do the same. The only thing that you are doing by commenting mean things in the comments is exposing who you are. You're exposing the very issues that I'm addressing and the fact that racism still exists, that microaggression still exists, that white supremacy still exists, and that white privilege still exists. You are literally proving my point. You are not making me run away. You are not proving a point, and you will never change my mind. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So if you stumble across my videos or videos from other people that are similar to what I'm talking about, and you sit there and you can't self-reflect and you can't put yourself in somebody else's perspective and acknowledge that your thought process has been wrong this whole time, then that's a you problem and you have to be left behind. I make this account so I can wake up other white people. But the thing is, in order for a white person to be woken up, they have to be willing. They can't be prideful. They have to welcome humility, which is the opposite of pride. And pride is one of the 7 deadly sins if you're a Christian. But they have to be willing to break down their thought process, to say, wow, I really do benefit from the way that this society is designed, and I need to put the work in to undo everything that I've ever been taught, I've ever had ingrained in me. And not everybody can do that. You have to have a lot of empathy. You have to be emotionally intelligent, and you just have to be overall strong. That's it.
Can we stop, for once, at least, maybe in our nation's history, stop trying to blame white on white crime on black people? Can we stop it for once, at least, please? Like, we all knew when Charlie Kirk was killed. We knew who this was going to be. We knew who the suspect was going to be, a young white man. We knew it. And yet, some people tried to spin this to say it was something else. And now threats are being lobbied against black students at universities. Black HBCUs are being threatened to be blown up. It was never them. It's never been the black community. We always blame anybody else but ourselves. But the call is coming from inside the house. We are the problem. White on white crime, we are the problem. We have always been the problem. So let's, for once, stop trying to blame somebody else and look inward and try to address the actual problems that we are the ones creating upon ourselves.
White people, stop pretending to be good people. If you can't call out white supremacy, I got news for you. You're not good if you can't call out white supremacy. Don't pretend to have morals if you can't call out white supremacy. If you can't acknowledge white privilege and white supremacy culture and system operating as a plague in our fucking nation and our fucking world, don't pretend to be moral. Don't pretend to be a good white person, because you're not. And I'm going to share with you guys something that I've never told before, a story. Many years ago, a white coworker told me, confessed to me, I guess because I'm white, told me I don't like black people. And I said, why you don't like black people? Tragically, he had lost his daughter, and he blamed a black man for it. His daughter died of a drug overdose, and they found out that a black guy had sold his daughter the drugs, and she died from an overdose. And he said, because of that reason, Dixon, I do not like black people. And I said, so let me ask you something. If a white guy had have sold you, your daughter, those drugs, would you not like all white people? And he said, well, that's not white culture. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, white people are not involved in drugs. Black people are. And I said, no, you're involved in white supremacy, because black people are not involved in drugs any more than white people. That's a fact. You have bought into a lie that white supremacy taught you, that black people are drug dealers, just like Trump said, right? You bought into that lie. You bought into white supremacy culture. That's why if it happened to the same, if a white person sold your daughter those drugs, you wouldn't not like all white people. That would be silly, right? It's the exact same thing with black people. It's stupid and silly and racist of you to think, because one black person does one thing, they're all in that same category. That's how white supremacy works. I'm at a gas station and somebody yelled at me from across the way, from a pretty good distance, maybe 90 feet. I said, hey, ain't you that guy that makes them Instagrams? And I said, no, I thought about it, and I said, I can't tell a lie. So I drove over there. I said, yeah, I am, man. He goes, yeah, you're the one that does the anti-racism. I said, yeah, I am. And he said, I appreciate you, brother. And of course he was black, because I've yet to ever be recognized by a white person, because I've never, ever had any white people recognize me, because I don't have many white followers, sadly, because white people avoid this conversation all the time. It's what we do as a society. It's what we do as a people. We avoid anti-racism. We don't want to be anti-racist. Not being racist is enough. No, it's not. When you benefit from racism, not being racist is not enough. So this gentleman touched me today because he recognized me and he said thank you. And he encouraged me to keep going. He doesn't owe me a thank you, and I told him that. Because what I'm doing should be the norm. Every white person in America should be calling out the plague called white supremacy in our society. Not just me. Not just a handful of white people. It should be every fucking person. But guess what? We're colonizers. We don't have morality. As long as you can't call out and fight to dismantle white supremacy as a white person, you'll never have morality. And you'll never be respected by other people other than white, let alone trusted. White supremacy is a plague for all of us, not just black, brown, indigenous people, for all of us. It's self-destructive. It's toxic to white people, and it takes all of our credibility and dignity away as a white people. And until we fix that, our most neglected sin, until we fix that as white people, we will never know peace. I was raised to be racist. I use the N-word. My whole family used the N-word. We all use the N-word, 70s, 80s. As a teenager, I was a very racist young man. And I put that racist part of me behind me, in that now I can acknowledge that we live in a white supremacist culture and system, that I have white privilege as a white person. We all do. That this nation is a white supremacist nation. That MAGA is a white supremacist movement. That Trump is leading. It's hate. And I'm ashamed of white people. I'm ashamed of all the white people that I thought that I knew that support this white supremacist MAGA movement. I'm so ashamed. And it is hard to believe just how racist the people that I thought I knew, and the denial, the apathy. But then you really think about it, black people have never really mattered to white people. They just don't. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught that black people are less than us. Subconsciously, consciously, overtly, directly, indirectly, passively, aggressively, whatever. We've all been taught that. We've all been taught that they are beneath us. And that's why everybody got so triggered when we had a black president. They're supposed to know their place. They're not supposed to have value. They're not supposed to have any kind of power, because we are such a racist people. Why? Because we're colonizers. Because we were enslavers. And that's our culture. You cling to it. You hold to it. Until you can respect your brothers and sisters that are not white, you're nothing but a fucking hypocrite. You don't love your country. You love white supremacy. You don't care about your brothers and sisters. Don't ever call yourself a Christian. And don't ever call yourself a patriot. Reality is, we're a highly racist country. And white people are a highly racist community around the whole goddamn world.
Growing up in the mountains of North Carolina, I was taught racism. From as young as I can remember, I was told black people are violent. Black people are lazy. Black people are not as smart as white people. I remember my dad told me that black people are too lazy to work, and so they depend on welfare to live, and they sell drugs. 10 minutes after my dad said that to me, a man knocked on the door. I let him in. He handed my dad some money. My dad weighed out some marijuana and a few pills and handed it to that gentleman. And then we went to the store to buy some groceries. We didn't buy groceries with the money that man just handed my father. It was little yellow, blue, and green food coupons. So my dad is trying to teach me that black people are drug dealers on welfare, while my dad was selling drugs out the living room, living on welfare. You see, he would tell me, son, I work very hard. I don't make enough money to provide for you kids, So that's why I sell these drugs. I just love you so much. And these food stamps, well, I pay my taxes, so I earn them. You see, the indoctrination begins at a very young age. We are taught without even knowing it, there are two Americas. If that's okay with you, we are on different moral platforms. We are on different ethical existences if that's okay with you.